Welcome to the Raise Your Energy podcast. This episode is the last one of 3 episodes talking about burnout. In the first episode, number 24, we covered what burnout is and how to recognize it. In the previous episode, number 25, we described what it means to be burnout and what the consequences on our health are. And in this episode, we will talk about the recovery process, and I will share more about my recovery from burnout with you. Stay tuned. Have I recovered from my burnout? Yes. Will I therefore never get burnt out again? Not exactly. The traits, habits, and perspective on work and life in general that got you to be burnt out in the first place don't just all go away once you recover. Some of them you are hopefully able to adjust, but changing them all in a matter of a few weeks is unrealistic. This means that you want to be mindful after recovery of not slipping back into your old habits and facing another burnout in months or years. There is a lot of information out there that describes what you should be doing to prevent burnout. Don't get me wrong, they are all valid, but I don't think you will give it any attention until it is actually too late and you are already kind of in your burnout or burned out. During the time before I accepted my burnout, if somebody would have told me to do this or do that to avoid burnout, I would have laughed and ignored them. I was not in a space to listen to any of these useful tips. And I truly think it's hard to turn the ship around when you're already close to the actual burnout. I know that I would have never been able to, just because of the fragile mental and emotional state that I was already in. I think the help on prevention that is out there is really helpful for the recovery process and the time after recovery to make sure you don't slip back into it. And that is then as well the point you will actually listen to this help, because you really do not want this to happen to you another time. I know that I still have a lot of habits and perspectives that got me into the burnout in the first place. But I have learned a lot of tools to stop myself or to balance my state of being now to not let burnout creep in again. I still like to work on a project and put in long hours for a certain amount of time. I still like to do a good job and take on more responsibility if I can. And thankfully, this does not mean that I will burn up myself out again. So if you're listening to this and you think you're getting towards burnout, please make sure to take any guidance you get and apply it before you work yourself even more into the ground. But don't beat yourself up if you're just not able to, because you might already be burnt out and just don't have the energy left to turn this around. Be kind to yourself. Burnout is not something you can shrug off in a matter of a day and be done with. The healing and recovery process needs patience and time. For me personally, the start of the recovery process was the acceptance that I was burnt out. Without acceptance that this is what it is, you cannot easily move forward and start to heal. In my case, this was the visit to the doctor and getting myself written off sick to take time off work. The doctor writing me off was not a specialist in helping me, but that was okay. I just visited her to get the time off that I needed. In the end, I was able to take 6 weeks off until I felt ready to go back to work. I know this is not possible for everyone, and some people might need even more than the 6 weeks off of work to get over their burnout. There is no rule on how much time it takes. I was fortunate to have a health system in my country that allowed me to take this time off so I can get the distance I needed to start my recovery. I think it is a good idea to see a specialist if you can. Either a therapist or a coach can help you understand how you got here. I mentioned before that you have traits, habits, automatic programs that you're running for years that might have gotten you to a place of burnout. These are not easily changed. And sure, you can try to help yourself through the process. But with everything else, seeing a specialist can accelerate the recovery process. There is sadly no magic pill that you can just swallow and tomorrow morning it's all gone. Sadly not. I'm going to share with you my top 3 insights that helped me to recover from my burnout. And then I'm going to share as well some tips for prevention that are usually mentioned on the internet and websites, but that could help you understand what might be your trick that can get you out of burnout. What is for sure is that the recovery from burnout looks different for every person. What might work for one might not work for you. We are all individuals that are constructed uniquely, and we will have different experiences of what got us into burnout in the first place. Therefore, each way out of burnout is unique as well. But I think there are great insights that people who experienced it and recovered can share. It's a unique mix you create for yourself on your way of healing. I talked about this many times before, but my number 1 insight and tool that helped me overcome my burnout was meditation. And to realize that my mind is just a tool that can be turned off. I think my never-ending chat in my mind was a big contributor to my burnout. And learning through meditation that I'm not just my mind and that I can actually influence and control my mind was my lifesaver, so to say. While I was off of work, I started meditating once or even twice per day. And since then I have had regular meditation practice. And this is for me the most important tool to manage my energy, my mind, and my body. I know that if I stop meditating just for a few days or even a week, I see my energy going down and my mind chatter going up. That's when I sit myself down again and put the time into my meditation practice. This is truly my number 1 tool that I advise others not just to help recover from burnout, but to have more energy and fun in your life for everyone. My second insight is setting boundaries around my energy. I have learned to be better at where and how I spend my energy and not to waste it on things that are just not important. So prioritization plays a huge role in this. Saying no plays a huge role in this. But it's all for the benefit of having more energy for yourself and the enjoyment of your life. I learned to protect my energy better and now do similar tasks than before, but spend much less energy on them, just because I learned more about my energy. The third one is about the change of perspective. And I think everyone who has had a burnout and recovered afterwards knows what I'm talking about. You cannot go back to your work and not fall back into old habits and traits if you don't change your perspective. For me, that perspective that I had to change was that my work is everything and priority number 1. I changed that to be me, my well-being and my happiness is now priority number 1. That does not mean that this is exactly the perspective change that you need. It's going to be personal for you, but something needs to shift. You cannot keep thinking and living in the same way as before and expecting a new outcome. There have been, of course, a lot more learnings that I applied, a lot more changes that I made in my life as a result of recovering from my burnout. But these are really the most important 3 that I want to give to you. My meditation practice, managing my energy, and changing my perspective and my priority in my life. If I look at what else is being out there on tips and advice on how to prevent or avoid burnout, then I think these 5 insights are really useful as well. Number 1 is to develop boundaries. And that could cover any kind of boundaries between your work and your private life, between you and your partner, between you and your family in general. You will know which boundary could be made better or stronger for you to have more energy and time for yourself. Second is find something you like to do outside of work. Most people struggle with the work part of work-life balance. Schedule personal activities and have several go-to hobbies that you enjoy so you have something specific to do with your time and won't be tempted to work during your off hours. That was for sure a problem for me and something I still work on. Number 3 is take a break. Take a few minutes to break during meetings. Take an evening during the week off just for yourself. Take a vacation, but a true one. Maybe even just by yourself. Learning how to take proper breaks has been a learning experience for me. We sometimes think we are taking breaks, but there is a quality issue. We need to learn to take meaningful breaks for us where we are priority number 1, where we truly can switch off, recover, and just enjoy ourselves. Number 4 is spend time in nature. Relaxing, walking, or doing any kind of exercises in a natural environment when you have some downtime has been proven to increase the benefits above and beyond what you get indoors. I focus as well now on nature when I'm outside on walks, and it really calms my mind. It makes me appreciate this as a quality and recovery time, and it gives me a lot of energy back. And then the last one, but really important one, is sleep better. Sleep is so important for everything. Our mind to function better, for us to manage our emotions, and of course for our body to recover and refuel. Our brain processes everything we're experiencing during the day at night when we sleep. So if we don't sleep enough or not well, this process is impacted and it will have consequences over time. And my last advice on recovering from burnout, I mentioned before and I want to say it again. Seek help. In whatever way or format, seek help from someone. If you cannot see an expert, then ask a friend or loved one to help you through this, even if it is just asking for help so you can take time off for yourself. Please share this episode with anyone in your life who might be helped by this message and information. And leave me a review or a comment if you want to let me know about something or just want to share. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon and bye-bye.